And we're live. Hi, everyone. It's Wednesday. And you know what that means? It's Closing Show Live Day. Welcome. This is our 33rd episode. So we've almost streamed 33 episodes back to back. Super stoked that you're here. If you got the ping, don't know what this is, don't worry. I'd like to cover it. The Closing Show Live is a weekly live show featuring the people of Proposify. So sales stars in the trenches and revenue leaders. The Closing Show Live is hosted by yours truly, Nadia Milani, VP of Marketing at Proposify. Every week, we discuss the challenges we're facing, the no BS lessons that we've learned, so you can crush your close rates. The Closing Show Live is brought to you by no other than Proposify. Get consistency, control, and visibility into the proposal process. Start your 14-day trial today. It's free at proposify.com. So some really quick housekeeping items. There's always stuff that happens every single week, so just really quick rundown. Sometimes the live will freeze. If that happens, just press pause and then play, and then you'll be put right back into the stream. You can catch the recording if you missed some of today's episode on the Proposify LinkedIn page or at proposify.com. And today we're giving away a couple of prizes. Woo, woo. We've got the Closing Show Live swag pack. So we have brand new merch. We're going to send that to you, as well as a 30-minute consultation with today's guest, who I am excited about. And Hunter will be picking the prize winner at the end of the show. So stick around. Hunter's our amazing BDR who's kicking ass this year. He's overexceeded on his quota. Might have to raise those targets. But listen, we're going to be talking about video today. I'm really excited about that because video is where it's at. You know that from a marketing perspective. And selling, I see sellers use video. I sometimes see sellers use video well, but sometimes it's not. So we're going to get to the bottom of it. So we have Chris Bogue today, who's going to tell us all the secrets about video, how you can incorporate it into your selling process. He is here. Hello, the Chris Bogue.
Hey, what's going on, Nadia?
You know, just like the same old stuff, like marketing and sales and Closing Show Live on a Wednesday. But I'm so happy that you're here because I've been thinking about having you on for quite some time, and I'm happy you said yes to being on the show.
Yeah, well, I'm very excited to be here. Thank you.
Amazing. So we're going to talk about video. I just want to know, why are you the video guy? So why have you chosen to talk about video? What's the story with you and video? And why are you known and dubbed sometimes as the king of video?
I didn't know anybody called me that, but everything I'm doing is kind of an accident.
Okay.
So I didn't really intend to get on video originally. I just kind of discovered it was powerful in my last sales role. So I was selling to universities. I was selling education, technology, software, long, complicated sale. COVID happened. And all of a sudden, the 3 best ways to reach my prospects were no longer available. Right.
Mm-hmm.
We used to call their office or visit them on campus or visit an educational conference. All of those were just taken off the table. They're not in their office anymore. All our trips are canceled. All the conferences are canceled. Still got to hit my quota. Right. So I started playing around with video, and I just have more experience in front of a camera than the average salesperson. I've done some network television work. I've done some web series. A lot of my friends that I used to do comedy with have created very successful content brands out in Los Angeles. They were giving me some coaching and mentoring at the early part of my career. But yeah, I just noticed I was able to do it a lot faster. The top salespeople on my team would maybe get 2 or 3 videos out in a month, and I could get 25 out in an afternoon. You know, and I never thought I was going to start my own business, but I just realized this is so powerful, and they don't teach this in business school.
They don't teach a lot of stuff in business school, but definitely not how to create a video. But I want to know, why do sellers shy away from using it? So it's amazing that you created 25 in a day, but I rarely see sellers using video in a meaningful way, or a way that's wow, I actually want to do business with this person. So why do sellers shy away from it?
A few reasons. The 2 biggest ones are stage fright and writer's block. Right? Either you don't know what to say, or you're nervous to go out there and do it. Right. My little secret sauce is I used to be a comedy director. People see me writing and performing comedy on LinkedIn. They don't realize that I used to do shows at Chicago's Second City, and I was often not in them. I was in the booth because I wrote the show and I directed it for a cast of performers. So I am big on I'm a coach because the ultimate goal was not to be a content creator or be the video guy. I want to help other people master the video thing. And a lot of it is a mental game. you know. People don't know what to say. People don't know where to put the lights. They don't know where to look. Usually salespeople are just rambling. They feel like it's this higher stakes thing, so they have to say everything about themselves in the video. And I just teach a much more casual approach. It's
Mm.
shorter. There's usually only one point I'm hitting on, and I really focus on like the way I speak to the camera. I talk to the camera like it's my friend. And I feel like a lot of sellers talk to the camera as if they're on this big stage with a big audience and they've got to like project so the people in the back of the room can hear them. I just talk to the camera like it's a person sitting across the table from me drinking coffee. And it just feels I don't know, it's simultaneously more professional and less formal. And it's
I
just
love
not what
it.
B2B is doing.
So you mentioned a couple of things there. So one is that you brought Second City into like the video experience, which I loved it. I love that story. So you used to direct Second City, the actors in Chicago, and it's really about connecting with the audience. But what you find is that sometimes sellers they think that they're speaking at the back of a theater show, and it's really about making it just very personable and quick and casual. And you mentioned like talking to the camera as it is, or as if it is your friend. So how do you do that in a way that makes it, casual and still connects with the person listening to it? So if I'm speaking to the camera and I'm like, camera, you're my friend. How do I actually get what I'm saying to the person so it resonates?
Yeah. So for starters, I literally put the camera at eye level.
Hmm.
So you're looking eye to eye at each other. You always keep your eye straight on the barrel of the lens. And yeah, we bring up theater. Theater, if you go to a Broadway show, the performers are up here and the audience is down here. And the two don't talk to each other. You sit there and you clap when it's done. I come from an improv background. So improv, you and the audience are both part of the show. You're
Hmm.
regularly interacting with the audience. You're bringing them up onto the stage. You're bringing their suggestions in there, and you're building scenes and characters off what they're doing. And so I've just kind of developed this much more direct way of speaking. One of the things I do, I'm a big fan of this, whether you're doing content or whether you're on stage or whether you're doing a prospecting video. I say start in the middle. The audience doesn't want exposition. We called this a 3-line scene in improv. And 3-line scene means by the time you're 3 lines deep into the scene, the audience should know, who are these people to each other? Where are they? And what are they doing together? For like a business video or for a prospecting video, I usually start with the word you. Or the first sentence usually contains the word you. It'll be like, hey, Nadia, I'm reaching out to you because I noticed blah, blah, blah about you. I know that you're working on this. I know that this is one of the values that you have. And here's why I think we should chat. And then it's like a sentence about me. And then I make it very easy to follow up. And I didn't spend this whole step like explaining why I'm qualified to talk to them. I just kind of started in the middle of the conversation. Like they're already sitting there talking to me. And I'll even do some things sometimes where, I'm intentional with my pacing and my pauses. And sometimes I'll ask the camera a question. And
Love
then
it.
you just sit there and think for a second. And then they're watching it and they mentally answer the question like they're having a conversation with you. And that's the thing I always tell them is like when I'm coaching video prospecting, I'm like, this is not a 1-person scene, even though you're only seeing me on camera. This is a 2-person scene. The camera is the other character, and actually, the camera is the main character. I am here as the supporting player, but it is a video about them. It is about the other person. And yeah, I feel like I just kind of think about it completely opposite than the way I see trainers on LinkedIn talking about it. So that's why I went out here and I'm doing it this way because I found that it is direct, but there's something, I don't know, just something vulnerable about it, I guess, that works.
I love that tip though. So it's really about looking at the camera. And it sounds like so simple, but I actually suck at this. So I'm somebody who's like, and I watch myself sometimes after closing show live and my eyes are all over the place. So I absolutely failed that test, but it's such a simple way to start is like looking at the camera. The camera is your friend. By the way, I just want to talk to the audience for just a second. Hello, Tiago joins us from Brazil. Julie Gardner, I hope you did jump on the stream. And welcome everyone. If you have a question and you want to actually get video coaching from Chris, you can win a 30-minute consultation. All you have to do is ask a question. It's so easy. So if you have a question about how you can start your video selling journey, and maybe you're one of the things that Chris mentioned at the top of the show, like maybe you are fearful of the camera, you're not quite sure how to use it properly. If you are one of those persons or people want to get a coaching session, all you got to do is ask a question. Hey, Chris, thanks for joining the show. So I want to know, like, what's the best way of using video? Is it always using it at the prospecting stage, or should you be using video throughout the buying or selling process? So kind of start, middle, and end, or is it more impactful at the beginning? What are your thoughts on that?
I use it through the entire process.
Okay.
One of the things is like, so not everybody gets a video, especially early on. If they don't know me, there's usually other steps. I usually don't send a video until I've collected some sort of signal that the other person is likely to watch it. So I do a lot of social selling. I do a lot of content. I do a lot of like dark social stuff where I'm in groups and I'm talking to people. I'm always expanding my audience. I'm always making content about topics that are important to my prospects. And once we start getting a little bit of interaction, then I will send the video. I always say, like, I characterize my leads with 3 different colors. So green, yellow, red. Green is they have a greater than 50% chance of going to the next step. Red is they have less than a 50% chance because they are ghosting me or not answering my messages, not watching videos. And then yellow is a 50-50. I don't know either way. I pretty much only send custom videos to the green and yellow leads. And
What are the signals though? Like, so if you mention signals, like there's certain signals that'll make them green or yellow. So what are those things that you're looking for?
like green is like literally they've expressed interest in paying me. If they're green, it's like the only question is why are they not closed yet? Like pull out all the stops, get them in there. Or somebody's like, oh yeah, I've been meaning to get into video. I've been looking around at coaching. Like that's somebody who's already inclined. You can pick up other signals too. Like I have a live stream that you're going to be on tomorrow. Yeah, that always has, a few hundred people show up. And so, yeah, usually the day of the show runs at 6 p.m. I just go through the guest list. And if anybody fits my ICP, it's like, well, they've already decided to come here and watch me speak, so that's a really easy way for me to just send a 30-second video being like, hey, Nadia, saw you're going to be at the show today. Like, let me know if you'd ever like to chat about adding more video to your company. I'd really like to speak with you because blah, 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 all about you. No matter what, see you at the show when you do the show and you follow up, but it's like that is a signal. If somebody's interacting with my content, someone's visiting my LinkedIn page, someone's coming to my events, like these are the type of people who will likely watch a 30-second video if you send it, even if they're not interested in meeting with you,
So good. Julie's here now, Bruce, just letting you know she joined the show. Dustin asks, how do you manage the balance between looking at the camera and at the screen? So do you share content on the screen for intros?
I almost never share content on the screen. I do lots of, and this is actually a misconception about me too. People think that I do quote unquote creative outreach, and I don't. I do creative marketing content. But my sales outreach is very straightforward. The big difference between what I am doing and what other video sellers are doing is they are all using screen shares. They are all showing product demos or turning the background into their prospect's website or things like that. Mine are me talking to the camera with big subtitles burned into the video. And there's a very specific reason that I do that is because if anybody out there makes video content, that subtitles in your videos will get more people to watch them. And I create all my videos so they can be watched even if I am on mute. And sellers don't think about that. They don't think about that extra step. If like you send a video to somebody who's like in an Uber or something, that person has to take out their AirPods and put them in so they can watch your 3-minute video. or they can watch my video that's 30 seconds and they can just hit play and read the text on the screen. So yeah, actually, I feel like sellers spend too much time fiddling around with changing their backgrounds and trying to show things that their prospect never asked for. Whereas if you just come talking straight to them about them, like that's pretty attention grabbing, you know? And then if you call, like, I feel like if I just started showing people a product demo before they're ready and then I call them afterwards, they'd be like, oh, hey, thanks. Like, I'll check it out if I'm interested in learning about that. But instead I call and I'm like, hey, I'm the guy that made that video about you. Like, what did you think about that? Did you have any thoughts on that? And again, just that difference between like, let me show you what I'm selling versus here's something I observed about you. You know, people are just, they are themselves and that's their number one priority in life. So like, of course they're going to be interested if that's what the video is about, you know?
Love it. You mentioned, so sellers, when they use video, sometimes the mistake is that they speak too long. It's just too long. The other thing is that they add content that the buyer hasn't even asked for. So what are other missteps that sellers usually make with video?
Let's see here. Honestly, I mean, they're just too long. They're too long, you know, even like, you know, 90 seconds is too long. Usually I try to get them all in at 45 seconds. But people don't, like, people think just because they put effort into making it, that's going to make the other person more likely to watch it. And your prospect doesn't really care how much effort you put into it, you know? The other mistake I'll say too is like people focus too much on cold outreach, and like SDRs, the easiest video tip I can give any SDR or anybody who has to set and take meetings to get paid. I'm like, SDRs, if you're breaking your back to get people like scheduling meetings and you only get paid if that person shows up to the meeting, 2 or 3 days before the meeting, send a video and just be like, hey, Nadia, really excited to chat with you on Wednesday. Here's one thing I want you to think about, and I'll see you at 11 a.m. Central. 15 seconds. It is statistically so much more likely that that person will actually show up and not ghost you or cancel or reschedule at the last minute because they see another human being that's expecting them to be there.
You know, it worked with you and I. You had sent me a video and I remember I couldn't make it to that meeting, but because you sent me this personalized video that you worked hard on, I was like, I actually, like, I wanted to show up because I'm like, I cannot let Chris down. So that works. We have a lot of questions here that just got dropped in the chat. So Olivia asks, what's the ideal length for a pitch video? We said 45 seconds. Is that any video? Or is that the initial pitch video? Should it be 45 seconds or even less than that?
Yeah, 45 seconds I feel is good for initial outreach. You can go longer than that once they're in the pipeline. Like if you're going back and forth and you're communicating something complicated or like that is, I think once they're in the pipeline, that's a perfect time when someone's like, hey, I know you had a question about this. I figured I would just show you how that works. And you can demonstrate that to them. You know, if you're giving quotes, sometimes quotes are better over video because instead of just emailing that off, you could say, hey, here's the price and here's the breakdown of why that's priced that way. You just get so many more storytelling tools at your disposal on video. You've got your tone of voice, you've got your eye contact, you've got, you know, text on screen. You can convey a lot more nuance than you could through like basic text, you know?
Love that.
Yeah.
Sarah asks, how are you sending the videos linked to external or embedded in message? Is there a platform you use?
Yeah, so I use SendSpark. So I'm a SendSpark guy. Strongly recommend them. But any you know, video platform works. I used to work with BombBomb. I used to work with Vidyard. You know, there's Drift, there's Loom. You know, any video, like I believe, like we all have an HD camera in our phones, right? But like 1% of 1% of people are making videos. So like clearly the problem is just like actually going out there and making yourself do it, you know? Now I see there's some questions here about email.
Yeah. Like Diana asks, want to just take it?
So, yeah. So this is why I don't recommend just randomly sending out videos as your first email, like you're likely to get into spam that way. Again, I do a lot of my video prospecting on LinkedIn because I know I'm not going to get hit by a spam filter, and I just have more tools there so I can see if somebody's interacting with me. Email, I actually like to get a little sneakier about it. If possible, I like to use their own domain to get in front of a decision maker. So an example is like, let's say I'm selling to like a B2B company. I've got my champion, I'm meeting with them. Now I've got to like expand to other decision makers, right? What I would do in a situation like that is I would end the meeting by being like, oh, who else is going to need to be involved in this? You know, ask your favorite question. Who's going to feel left out if they're not in here? You get that information. And then I ask them point blank. I'm like, what do you think they're going to think about this? You know, do you see any reasons why they wouldn't want to do this? I get some information from them and I say, okay, well, why don't I do this? Why don't I just send you a quick 1-minute video that's a summary of what we talked about? And then you can send that on to the rest of the team and we'll take it from there. When's the next time you're going to meet with them? Oh, do you have like a one-on-one? Okay, you have a one-on-one with them every Thursday. Well, why don't we get back in touch then on Friday and see how it went? And the act of getting, like, I send it to my champion shares it internally in Slack or an internal email. And then you watch the open rates, you know, and if that thing's got 7, 8, 9, 10, 14, 15 watches on it, I know they just shared it in one of their internal channels and I know they watched it and I know I'm up here. They're at least thinking about it, right? I will sometimes get prospects to ask me for a video, you know. You've got to be a little clever about it because it is a bigger commitment for them to watch. It is harder to consume than basic text,
Yeah.
but it's also harder to ignore. And, you know, I sell to B2B people. So once they've watched the video, they know that I know that they've watched it. And then, yeah, it's like you can't even guarantee that they're going to watch it. So you better have a follow-up plan. One of my favorite things to do is I'll send off a bunch of videos and then a couple days later, a week later or something, I'll go through, I'll see who didn't respond to it. And I'll send them a screenshot of the transcript because I have subtitles and everything, right? So I'll send a follow-up just being like, hey, Nadia, I just realized maybe it's not convenient for you to watch a video. Here's the transcript if you want to check it out. Let me know if you're interested in talking about this.
No one has ever done that. By the way, as a buyer, I don't think that's such a great hack, but I don't think that's ever been done specifically around a video. So like, hey, you haven't watched it. Here is the transcript. I love that idea. You mentioned also that this is a great point. Video is harder to consume, but it is harder to ignore. And I agree with that. I love that point. Sandra asked, do you use full, you kind of answered this already, but do you use full text and captioning or just punchy points?
Yeah, I write all my subtitles myself. People don't realize that. Yeah, all my videos have subtitles in them. I use Adobe Premiere Pro to edit, and they have fantastic like captioning software. What happens is it uses artificial intelligence to generate a caption track. It's usually like 90% correct. And I just go through and I fix the proper nouns. Usually I have to fix the name of the company. And then I burn it into the video. I do the same thing with my video content too. Most of the people who are doing comedy on LinkedIn do not do this, but I actually adjust all my subtitles so the punchlines of my jokes read the same way that they sound. You know, you're never going to get that punchline spoiled like half a beat too soon. Like I time it up. So if there's like a wind up, like a setup and a punchline, the setup is one caption, then you get the punchline. And yeah, I'm always thinking about how does this read, because video in the year 2023 is a reading experience as much as it is a watching experience.
So good. I'm just curious, you mentioned a little bit on editing. Like if you're getting started, do you edit videos, or is it just like a one take type of video that you should be sending specifically at the pitch stage?
I coach my clients to batch their video filming. So
let's talk about that.
Yeah, so batching means like if I'm going to go make a prospecting video, I'm probably going to make at least 5 at one time. And I use Adobe Premiere Pro for this. Some of my clients use Descript. I use Descript sometime as well. Descript is a very simple editing program that you can use. And yeah, what I do is like I let the camera run. I've got a list of like 5 or 10 names, and I just do them one by one after another. And then I just run one caption track. I just chop them up and send them out. But yeah, that's why, and that's the other reason why I'm able to do so much content is like I will sometimes be batching clips for multiple videos all in one filming session. And again, we go back to the example I gave about the SDR. You know, you think like, okay, literally all you have to do is pull up your calendar and see who has to show up this week, and you just go one by one, and it's 15 seconds long each one. You could potentially have 5 to 10 videos on a 3 or more minute video file. You just chop them up and send them out.
Such a great point. And you can also use video for proposals. So Proposify is a proposal software solution. You can actually use video in the proposal at the end to kind of summarize the whole buying experience, and then use some of the like the vidyards or the volumes to actually see if they're watching that video within the proposal, but also you can see the analytics within the proposal, and it actually increases your proposal close rate if you add video. So another video hack that we're adding to the show. So I'm curious just on analytics. So is there any other additional analytics that the audience should be aware of around video? So you can obviously see the views. Is there anything else that you should be looking for in terms of like video and just the selling process?
Yeah, I think if you're doing video, you should get bare minimum 20% response rate. The whole point is to make it easy to respond to, you know. Like it's very important. You need to be watching your response rates, and you need to be watching your watch rates. I see sellers all the time complain because their prospect only watched 11% of the video. And I tell sellers in that situation, you should go to the 11-second mark in there or wherever that drop-off point is and see what you said that made them turn it off. You know, my watch rates are pretty much either 0% or 100%. Either they didn't watch it or they watched the whole thing. Why? Because I grabbed them in the middle of conversation, so to speak. I only took 30 seconds of their time. It was simple. It was light. You know, it was friendly. Yeah, if your watch rates are low, you probably need to be making shorter videos. You probably need to look at the camera better. You probably need to like, again, talk to them like you're happy to see them, you know?
Sarah, do you have suggestions on how to manage support a team of salespeople who don't have the technical skill set, don't want to learn the skill set?
Yeah, I mean, if they don't want to learn, then like whatever, go use the phones then. Like I don't really judge. Like not everybody likes being on video, but every team usually has one video star. They've got someone who's just naturally good. You know, that's tend to be what I find at like most teams is like they've got 1 to 3 people who are really good at it and a lot of people who aren't adopting. So I'm like, if you've got the video star, encourage them to do it. I believe every salesperson should be able to at least make and send 5 in an hour. Like just like every salesperson should be able to cold call, every salesperson should be able to cold email. I believe you should be able to just pop off 5 videos like in a sitting. And that's a goal you can work towards. Start by trying to get 3 and work your way up to 5. But yeah, it's like I find most people just don't have a process for this. And the irony is today's youth, the people who are graduating college right now and getting SDR sales jobs right now, they have video skills. They grew up on YouTube. They are TikTokers. They are better at video than I am.
My daughter showed me how to when she's 10 years old, she showed me, she's 11. She showed me how to cut a video on CapCut. She downloaded it for me.
Yeah.
She's like, Mom, you just gotta do this. But I'm like, I couldn't scroll something. And she's like, no, you just hold your finger down. And I was like, okay, thanks.
They
are on video. Yeah.
They are better at it than me. The only difference is I have permission to do what I'm doing and they don't have permission to do what they're doing. They are under expectations to make a zillion calls and a zillion emails and put a zillion things into Salesforce, and they are not given time or structure or support or knowledge on how to do this. I will literally sit here on LinkedIn and just read video advice and just be like, that's literally just wrong. That they're literally saying the opposite of what anybody who's done any work in front of a professional camera knows. And again, it's because they don't teach this stuff. There's not the level of scholarship and study around it the way there is with calling or emailing or running a sales presentation. It's just newer.
Last question. I can't believe the half hour is over, but we have a question. Hey, Chris, any recommendations on how to develop the content that should hit all the points and in the time frames you suggested? So you kind of mentioned batch, capturing and batch content, but any additional points on how to get all those videos in like a small, concise bid?
Yeah. I'm just going to take a cop out here and say, just follow me on LinkedIn because there's a lot going on here. Again, video is a lot of different parts, right? It's your on-screen performance. It's the words you're saying. It's the way you deliver it. It's your approach to outreach. It's your follow-up game. Like there's like 10 different moving parts going on here. So I would say like the simplest distillation is like, always picture one person, even if you're making something for 1,000 people, but yeah, like follow along. I've got a course on this. You can get it at chrisbogue.io. It's called The Complete Guide to Selling on Video. That's like deep in, it's like 2.5 hours worth of video lessons in there. And I also sketch comedy because I throw sketch comedy, sprinkle it into everything I do to keep people interested. But it's really just going deep on the methods that I teach other people that have been successful for me and been successful for my clients. I also coach a lot on how to like create creative video content, which we didn't really get super into on this time, but that's course number 2, Chris Bogue's Guide to Immersively Short Video Content. So that will be coming out soon. And yeah, I just like, you kind of got to learn by doing. So I say, when in doubt, just go out there and do it and then watch it because you're going to squirm. And that just means you can improve. If you're squirming, your audience is probably squirming. So let's work on that. Maybe it's just adjusting the way you're looking. Maybe it's talking more conversationally. But you got to start somewhere. Nobody got good at cold calling overnight. It usually takes a little while to get the hang of it.
So great. So one of our audience members gets to start with you with a 30-minute consultation. Hunter, let's bring out the prize wheel and let's spin that thing. Let's spin the wheel of prize. Here we go.
Right,
so
here.
All those who asked a question, we put you on the prize wheel, and here we go. 30-minute video consultation with Chris Bogue. Nice.
Cheyenne.
Cheyenne. Awesome.
Hey.
A lot of 30-minute consultation. So I'm going to reach out to you after the show on the comment section. So thanks everyone for joining us. Chris, if there's a way of getting hold of you, you mentioned a couple of ways. What's the best way of connecting with you after the show?
Follow me on LinkedIn. You can just connect with me. I accept most connections unless you're a bot, in which case nothing against you, but we're not going to be connecting. But yeah, follow me on LinkedIn. Just look for Chris Bogue. You can also follow me wherever you get podcasts. So I have a podcast called Chris Sells His Soul. Nadia is going to be my guest tomorrow on the live stream. So yeah, conversations about video, about sales, about marketing, and about how to use your creative skills to monetize yourself. So yeah, check me out wherever you get podcasts. You can also find me on TikTok at Chris Sells His Soul.
Amazing. So thanks for joining, Chris. So again, Chris and I will be live tomorrow, 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, and we're going to be talking about how to be prepared. It's going to be funny. I've seen the script, some of it, and it's hilarious. So I'll share the link on my personal LinkedIn page later today. So coming out for one. So it's going to be way more fun live than this. So if you want to have a really good time, come join us tomorrow. It's going to be awesome. And also join us next week. So we're going to be starting to do proposal audits. So we've asked a whole bunch of people to send us their proposals, and we're going to do proposal audits starting all month, starting on Tuesday. Corey Bray, co-founder of Coach CRM, will be joining us Tuesday at 12 p.m. Eastern. Thanks everyone for joining. See you next time.